Welcome on in, I'm Matt McFarland, and today is the first ever episode of a new series I'm debuting on the channel called Last Alive, which is essentially an 8-round fight between two, in my opinion, all-time classic horror sequels in Halloween 2, which was released in 1981, versus Friday the 13th Part 2, also released in 1981. Now, I must be a masochist because this is going to be a hell of a task ahead of me today. This is going to be nothing but tough choices all around because I really enjoy both of these movies and both of these franchises. So in the end, if there isn't a tie and a winner is chosen, just remember, this is just a celebration of both of these great movies. Now, before we get into it, I'll quickly run down the scoring and how each round will work. Essentially, each round will be a category like kills, final girl, story, etc. And if you're familiar with traditional combat sports scoring, each round I'll give 10 points to the winner of that round and 9 points to the loser of that round. However, if a round is really lopsided, I'll give 8 points to the loser instead of 9. All right, let's start off round one with a big one, the kills. Now, both of these movies are well known for their kills. The original Halloween, though, the kills in that movie were a little bit more subtle and more off-screen, and it really wasn't that gory of a movie. However, in the sequel, director Rick Rosenthal decided to turn that up a notch. In Halloween 2, you've got the famous hot tub kill. The needle to the temple sequence is shot so well, with Michael kind of slowly creeping out of the shadows. And overall, really, the kills, in my opinion, are incredible in Halloween 2. In Friday the 13th Part 2, of course, you've got Mark's machete to the face in the wheelchair, with the thunder and the lightning, just a badass and iconic kill. The Alice ice pick to the temple in the opening, the Jeff and Sandra sexy bed shish kebab, and the cop's hammer claw to the head in Jason's Love Shack, which is actually very similar to the security guard death in Halloween 2. But I will say a lot of the kills in Halloween 2 aren't even out of frame, they're entirely off screen. They looked like badass kills, but we didn't get to witness it. For example, like the doctor with the syringe to the eye, or the nurse with her blood drained. All cool shit, but we didn't get to see it. So I've got to give Friday the 13th Part 2 the slight edge in this round with a 10-9 round. Round 2, the characters, which is another tough one. Setting the final girls aside because that'll be a separate category. In Halloween 2, you've got Loomis, who's obviously a legend. Officer Hunt and Brackett are solid characters in the story. But Halloween 2 also has fun side characters like Bud, who I think fits this movie perfectly, even though he dies 51 minutes in.
Every other word you say is either hell or shit or damn.
Sorry. I guess I just fuck up all the time.
Most of the movie's got a pretty dark, intense tone to it, but every movie needs a Bud, a character who doesn't take the moment too seriously and helps keep things kind of light to round out the movie a little bit.
Amazing Grace, come sit on my face.
Friday the 13th does have a good cast of characters as well, though. You've got Crazy Ralph and the camp counselors with different personalities. I also think the characters in this one have a lot of funny moments and charming things about them. But what hurts the Friday characters is we have zero history with the characters because none of them were in the first movie, and we don't have any backstory on them for the most part. So even though I do really like the characters in Friday the 13th Part 2, I have to give a slight edge here to Halloween 2 because it's not really a story just about camp counselors. In Halloween 2, you've got characters young, old, rich, poor, you've got cops, hospital workers, and like I said earlier, the damn legend, Dr. Samuel Loomis. So I'm giving Halloween 2 the 10-9 round here. On to round 3, and in this one, the music goes toe-to-toe, and in this one, I'm gonna have to give the slight edge to Halloween 2. The Halloween score just gives you goosebumps every time it hits you. There's almost nothing that reminds me of the holiday of Halloween more. Also, every time it plays, memories just start flowing into my head. The Halloween score just has this climactic build to it that feels so epic in certain scenes, especially when the synth kind of organ sound hits. But at the same time, it's also so subtle, and when you turn the volume down a little or just play the subtle piano part, it fits perfectly to build just a small amount of tension in certain scenes. But really, this is a tough one. It's like choosing your favorite ice cream. You really can't go wrong with either one that you choose here. The Friday the 13th music is so iconic and incredible too. It also brings back so many damn good memories. It also has some epicness to it as well. And also works so well when it's used subtly when Jason's kind of sneaking around or to build tension in a certain scene. But I have to give the slight edge here to the music in Halloween 2 in a 10-9 round. All right, round 4, how much do I enjoy the story in each of these movies? And I'd have to give the slight edge here to Halloween 2, and for a few reasons. First of all, the story just makes sense, and the Friday the 13th 2 story just doesn't exactly make sense. So Jason's mom went on a murder spree to avenge her son's death, yet now you're telling me actually Jason was alive that entire time? And on top of that, watched his mother get killed? So all those years back when Jason drowned while the camp counselors were having sex, Jason really just faked his own death and ran away for all those years, only to return the moment his mom got killed? Halloween 2, though, is just a seamless sequel to the original. It takes place the same night as the first movie and just picks up where Halloween 1978 left off. I know a lot of people aren't fans of the whole Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister subplot that they implemented in Halloween 2, but I actually don't mind it. I like the fact that Michael has a clear motive in the movie. I mean, even the devil has a plan, right? So with all that said, I'm giving the 10-9 round to Halloween 2. Round 5, which movie is scarier in my opinion? Now, I think both of these movies share a ton of similarities in how they try to scare the audience. Great music, POV shots, and a hell of a lot of jump scares. Friday the 13th Part 2 also has arguably the most human Jason in the franchise, which along with Michael Myers makes it very relatable, like it's just some demented maniac on the loose. They don't feel really supernatural to me yet in either franchise up to the second movies. However, overall, I just think the tone, the setting, and Michael Myers is just scarier in Halloween 2 than it is in Friday the 13th Part 2. But it's not by a wide margin, so I'd say this is a 10-9 round for Halloween 2. All right, which punches are coming in round 6? Well, final girl punches. Laurie in Halloween 2 is dealing with the after effects of the 1978 movie, so she's beaten up, has a stab wound in the shoulder, and has a broken ankle. Laurie does do a great job towards the end of Halloween 2, just being a badass and getting away from Michael Myers. However, Laurie's character is just not a focal point in Halloween 2. Ginny, on the other hand, gets the full treatment in this movie. Because it's the only Friday she's in, her character gets an entire character arc, from meeting her, building her backstory a tiny bit, and then her ultimately overcoming and fighting Jason off at the end. Plus, her character manipulating Jason with his mom's sweater was a pretty damn smart move. So as incredible as Laurie Strode is, I'm basing this off of what that final girl does in this specific movie, disregarding all past roles or future roles. So I'd have to go with Ginny here and give Friday the 10-9 round. Coming up next is round 7, which is gonna be the ending of the movie. Now, setting aside the fact that Laurie Strode has a broken ankle, but is climbing out of windows, running down the stairs and through halls and all that, the ending to Halloween 2 is solid to me. I enjoy the fact that Laurie and Loomis are kind of teaming up a little bit, and Loomis is going to do anything he can to protect her. I also like how it feels at one point kind of like Laurie might lose. You think to yourself for a moment, like, how the hell is she going to get out of this one while she's kind of sitting in the corner with Michael walking towards her? Then, of course, we get the 2 gunshots to his face with the iconic blood dripping from the eye holes of his mask. And as the oxygen and the other stuff is filling the room more and more and more, you can feel it's just getting more and more tense in that scene. Then it all crescendos with the line from Loomis,
"It's time, Michael."
Then boom, the room explodes. And Michael walks out of the flame, falls down, and then Laurie rides away in the ambulance the next day. And in Friday the 13th Part 2, it ends with Ginny, like I mentioned, brilliantly using her child psychology she's been studying to kind of manipulate Jason with his mom's sweater. I also enjoy the ambiguous ending. Did Paul live? What happened to Jason? Plus, you can't forget that epic jump scare. Muffin, you distracting, yappy little fuck. Were you in cahoots with Jason this entire time? But definitely a suspenseful and good ending. I'm actually gonna go with a 10-10 round here because I think both of these endings are pretty dead even. I really enjoy them both. And now for our 8th and final round, which is which killer do I like more in each of these sequels? Michael Myers from Halloween 2 or Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 2? Like I mentioned earlier, what's unique about comparing these two movies is that this is probably the most human Jason Voorhees we have in the entire franchise. His character is clumsy at times, pretty normal size, and doesn't feel like a supernatural killer yet. And Michael Myers, I mean, yes, Loomis shot him 6 times and he got up. Laurie shot him in the face twice and he kept going, but he still has a tiny bit of a human feel to him, essentially this escaped mental patient on a mission to kill his sister. I don't mind the sackhead Jason look in the second Friday, but if I was choosing which mask would be better, it would definitely have to be Michael's. I know some people don't love Dick Warlock's more zombie-like portrayal of Michael, but I'm not one of them. I enjoy the hell out of it. Both killers have iconic kills in each movie, but I do think Michael's scarier than Jason when comparing these two movies. And yes, a part of that is the incredible camera work and the lighting in Halloween 2. So even though I really like both Jason and Michael in each of these movies, I'm gonna have to give a slight edge here to Mikey Mike for a 10-9 final round. And your winner and first ever Last Alive champ, or I guess you could say championship belt holder, with a score of 78 to 75 is Halloween 2. And there you go, that wraps up the inaugural Last Alive head-to-head battle. Be on the lookout for new videos which come out every single Friday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so and you're new here. All of my social media links will be down below in the description if you want to go and follow me over there. But in the meantime, I'm Matt McFarland, and you just finished watching Mad Blood.